This is Analog Spectrum. This is just like Joe Rogan's podcast, except there's less elk meat, weed, and listeners.
All right, this is Analog Spectrum, and Drew is still with us. And hey, thanks for joining us, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. So today we're going to talk about another movie. Hey, I have a question real quick now that Drew's here. But Doug, do you ever do like, the whole like, you think you got what it takes, boy? Come at me.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Just curious.
Nope. I'm not even interested. He's got what it takes. He can have it.
Oh no, you got that old man strike.
I could whip his ass. No, I can't even do that anymore. I could say I could whip his ass at racing on PlayStation, but I can't even do that anymore.
Oh, dude, I would not want to scrap with Drew on a PlayStation or
Oh
PC
no,
right
we're
now.
scrapping because you made me cry when I was younger. I'm gonna make you cry now.
You don't want that on the podcast, bro.
Yeah, Tony's a mean
abuse.
man.
No, everybody's gonna think I'm the freaking villain.
made a child
Yes, that
cry.
happened. That happened. I made a child cry. Okay, just so everybody knows, he was 17 years old.
Yeah, minus 10. I must have been 7.
Yeah.
Oh, you
You were only
I think
about 5 or
you're
6,
like 9.
actually.
You're like 9. How old was he?
No, he was only like 5 or 6, dude. And,
No, he was
so, okay, I'm
not.
going to tell the story. How old? Let me ask how's that. How old was? Yeah.
What year were you born, Drew? What year were you born?
Yeah, he was 6. He was 6.
97, 98, 99. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
maybe he was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, he was 6. Okay, so here's what happened. We lived in England.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, he was only 5 at the time. Yes.
Damn,
He
Tony.
wasn't
The
5.
peanut gallery.
He was
Just
not 5. I wasn't there in 2002.
Trust
I know.
my wife. He was 5.
Mm-mm. If you're born in 2007, or excuse me, 1997.
Oh, he was 8. Okay, so
Yes, that sounds right.
Yes.
Because he was not
Okay,
5.
okay.
8
Okay.
sounds right. 8 sounds right.
Okay. However old he was little, and Tony came to visit us in England, and I got Andrew an Xbox for his birthday or something, and he had a game called Burnout, and it was a racing game, and both of these two knuckleheads are extremely competitive, and so at 8, Andrew honestly, he had the game pretty much wired, but when those two would race. Tony would not let him win. He was just whipping his ass and driving him off the track.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and smack talking him, and then just I just heard his feelings.
Smack talk him a
It
little
was the
right.
smack talk that got me.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Anyways.
And then he started crying, and then I really leaned into it.
So Drew, it might take a while, but you can pay him back, and one of these days, just tell him like I'm not going to change your Depends when the day comes. Okay,
Mhm.
Just
That's
saying.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Mhm.
I will get it. I totally do it. But honestly, it wasn't malicious. I felt like I was really forming and shaping you into the young man you are today.
Yeah, you know
basically,
what? It built some character. I got pretty thick skin now. So.
Built fucking character. That is right.
Right.
Thank you.
That's what it did.
It did. It
No,
did.
thank you.
know.
No, thank you.
Speaking of character,
Yes.
movies.
We're going to talk about a movie. I think this is going to be a good conversation. We're going to talk about Gunpowder Milkshake, and let
Milkshake.
me explain why I put this to the group. Is
Okay.
I had seen this movie on Netflix. I saw the preview. I was pretty sure I would not like it, but because it was an action movie, I really, really wanted to be wrong. Okay, because you can't judge a movie. You can't judge a movie by its trailer. You really can't judge a book by its cover. So I put the movie forward because it was an action movie, and I wanted to see what everybody else thought. So I've not seen it.
What'd you think? So you go first this time. What'd you think?
What did I think? Okay, I will tell you what I liked about it. Okay, I thought it had a really interesting, visual appeal. I thought some of the set design and so forth was very cool. I thought the neon and so forth was great. I really like all the actors that were in it. I think was it Karen? Is it Karen Gillan? She's the one that plays. She played Amy Pond and Karen Gillan. She played Amy Pond in Doctor Who. Lena Headey's great. Of course, you got freaking Paul Giamatti, who I love, right?
Yeah, everybody loves Paul Giamatti.
Everybody does. And that's where it kind of ends. I thought it sucked.
All right.
Let me tell you why, okay?
Tell me why. I'm interested.
Okay, all right. No, an essay sucked. That's hard. That's harsh, okay? I thought I don't know, blue? So
Depends on which side of the fan you're on, if it sucks or blows.
Okay, so a lot of the things I struggle with movies nowadays, this movie kind of encapsulates, and it probably has a lot to do with when it came out, because it kind of came out at the beginning of this kind of curve. Okay. Kind of like we were talking about with, I can't remember what movie or what conversation, but you have Karen Gillan, who I like a lot. Okay, but probably where the wheels really, really fell off the bus for me was when she had the fight with the three guys in the bowling alley. I appreciate the fact that they pulled the camera back and they didn't rely on shaky cam to hide anything. But I think they probably should have used shaky cam, okay? Because it just seemed heavily choreographed, and there was no reason why at any minute the guy with the crowbar didn't bash her fucking head in, okay? There's no reason why that didn't happen, okay? Or the bigger guy didn't grab a hold of her and drop her like a 100-pound sack of hair, okay? But okay, so you got that, and so I felt like that so you have these very, very strong female characters. They're like none of them really have a significant arc. You've got kind of the young girl that they rescue from her inept father, who's a thief, who Karen Gillan kills, and but she regrets it. But then you're supposed to think, well, the girl's actually better off because now she's with all these other girl bosses, and she can be sassy, and so there's this whole thing, and I think it was a little bit of a rip from the John Wick series. Rather than have the hotel, you've got the library. Why the fuck are we putting books and guns and books? And I don't freaking know. I don't get that. And Angela Bassett was annoying. There you go. I thought she was crazy annoying. And plus, like when the girls popped out the top of the VW bus with the chain gun, the only reason she didn't shoot that guy or shoot him through the wall is because he was wearing invulnerable plot armor that kept bullets from hitting him. Because otherwise, he would have been ripped in half. But they needed somebody to kill that character. It just seemed very contrived. I just felt like, again, it just everything I was worried about was what came true. So again, was it the worst movie I've ever seen? Not by far. Okay, it was no MASH, as Doug might say.
There's no MASH.
But I went in there thinking, and I swear to God, I swear to everybody listening right now, I went into this. I know this is very cliche to say. I went into this thinking, I totally want to like this movie. I want to be wrong. I want it to be a great movie. And sometimes I am. And we're going to talk about it. And talking about like the fight scenes, we're going to talk about a movie coming up. We're going to talk about The Matrix, okay? And you look at like Trinity in The Matrix, okay? And her fight scenes, okay? Now, they're freaking amazing, okay? When she fights and when she hits somebody, you're like, yeah, I get the feeling that she really does have power behind her punch, right? I don't know. I just didn't get in this. You know what I mean? So I'll stop there because I would like to get other people's opinion.
Okay.
So there you go. Not a fan.
All right. Okay, I'll go.
I'm done.
I had never heard of this.
Yeah.
I had never heard of this movie. So I went into it with zero expectations.
Same.
And I actually liked it. Yeah, no, the bird. I don't know if you can hear the bird chirping, but the birds are chirping. Anyway, yeah. So all of the complaints that you had about this movie, I have about most movies, with the exception of the girl fighting thing. Like I'm over that. That's whatever. That's in all movies now. But I remember, I was watching through it. I didn't like the thing where she was injected and her arms didn't work and she was flinging guns around. Whatever. Again, it's just, I thought that was kind of silly and unnecessary in the story. But anyway, I got to the point where, it was obvious early on that this was a girl power movie, sort of stacked, unstacked. But I remember clearly thinking when they went to the diner, the chick that you said came out of the top of the VW and got killed, had been killed by now. And they go to the diner and they meet the bad guy. I remember thinking just as she walks in and she's being arrogant or whatever she's being, fake scared or whatever. I remember thinking like this movie, I've never seen a movie that says I hate men more than this without actually saying I hate men, because They just showed it, right?
Yep.
And then this is the part that I found funny. She sat down across from the bad guy. The very first line out of the bad guy's mouth, "I've always been a feminist." I'm like, oh shit, you got to be kidding me. They did not put that line. But sure enough, that was his first line. Then he went on to explain how he had daughters, and then he had a son, and everything was changed for him, right? That's it. Then he realized that men were great and whatever, and of course they end up killing the guy. But I will have to say that all the things that you complained about in this movie, it didn't bug me in this movie. Those are the things that I complained about in John Wick. And strangely, because I think it's the entry into John Wick. I was expecting all this awesome stuff because I saw the first one, and every other one after that was the same. It was just find new ways to have him manipulate a gun, but it's the same shit over and over again, you know? And so this one I found just very, very light, very entertaining, extremely heavy on the woke feminist agenda.
You think?
Which normally I think would bug the living crap out of me, but for whatever reason, I felt like the fun part of it outweighed that part of it. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Well, I don't know. I appreciate your comparison to John Wick, but I don't know. Like I look at a fight scene in John Wick, and I'm kind of like, like there's fight scenes.
You're judging it wrong. Okay.
Why?
Yeah. Okay.
How?
Screw it. You are judging it wrong because
no, I'm not. But go ahead.
You are. You're totally judging it wrong. You're comparing it with reality. Like you just referenced the Matrix with the swinging around on wires.
You want a what is it? An extension of disbelief. You want to be able to you want to be able to look at something and say that's that. But yeah, I don't think it's a judging it right or wrong. I mean, this is a difference of opinion. But with that said, like I said, when I watch a John Wick movie and like for example, he's in a stables and he slaps the ass of a horse and the horse kicks the guy through a door. I can feel that. Okay, I'm thinking that looked great. Okay, that was a very well put together. But that was a very well put together stunt because I literally saw a horse kick a man through a door. But when she was like, again, in that whole arm thing that you're talking about, I'm watching that and I'm thinking, it's like watching two marionettes try to freaking pass a football. I'm just thinking it was so light. I just felt like, I didn't, and also even like I said with the Matrix and all, like the fight scene in the Matrix where Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne are in the dojo and they're fighting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's a Matrix, but you can feel the energy there. This movie I just didn't get it. You know what I mean? So I just but I will tell you, I will give you one. What's that?
I said opinions are like a-holes.
Yeah. You like every one of them. Anyway, so with that said, the one scene I did like that you just kind of talked about that I thought was actually kind of entertaining is when, like you said, at the very end where they were where they all pulled out the guns. They were in the diner and it did like the slow motion thing where they were like samurai sword fighting and bullets were flying everywhere and they were shooting everyone, all the inept dudes. You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting.
I was curious how they made that shot because there was quite a few like really long shots in there, and that was filmed at a ridiculously high frame rate. And then, of course, enhanced a whole bunch of ways in After Effects. But just curious how they choreographed that because there was people moving in and behind one another. And I'm not sure how much was green screen and how much was, live action with a super high frame rate. So they could slow it down. But it was cool. That part was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
I love the fact that guy jumped out of the window, and for a second you thought he was going to escape, and then she plugged him a couple times.
She shot him twice. Yeah. Like I said, right But also to your point, Drew, though, the heavy feminist thing bugged me too. But go ahead, Drew. What do you think?
Anything to add, Drew?
Yeah, actually, again, same thing as my dad. I went into this. I had never even heard of the movie. Downloaded it, and I watched it on the airplane. So, cool. So, and again, I liked it. So the first 10 or 15 minutes, like definitely caught my interest, like the whole diner vibe. And, like you said, it was like the hotel in John Wick, you could tell it was like that amnesty spot where everyone was cool. So I thought it kind of set that up for later on, which I thought was cool. And then, same thing, like that, the the whole feminist thing, that doesn't bother me really at all. Like, I'm so used to seeing all that stuff in movies, and then, you know, you got John Wick on one side and this on the other. So, I mean, you know, they kind of balance each other out. But like to talk about that, like the choreographed like fighting, that's, to me at least, that's all movie magic. All movies are the same to me in that respect. Like John Wick is just as unbelievable as this movie, in my opinion. Like no one, you send 20 Spetsnaz guys to go kill him in a house. He's not making it out alive, dude. Like, I don't care who you are, John Wick or
pencil or no pencil.
Yeah, you know. So, I actually liked the core. Like, I think the more out there and the more choreographed it is, and that like they leaned into it, I think, a little more, which I actually liked. So, like the library scene where Lena Headey had her guns with the little blades on the end. That was badass, man. I love that. She popped the guy through the bottom of the head, like super cool.
So that's an interesting point, Tony. Like, you know, we're a couple old fat old white guys, and you know, Andrew's the generational thing might be in play here, because I'm sure that movie was not made for you and I. That movie was made much more for Andrew's generation.
No.
Well,
yeah. Right.
I think I actually made a note of it. I was like, this reminds me of a mashup of like multiple movies. I think I wrote down John Wick, Charlie's Angels, and The Matrix or something like that, because they had that like dystopian feel a little bit, like you said, with the neon and stuff like that. And a lot of the shots were dark and rainy and, you know, kind of like Matrix style. And then you had the choreograph of John Wick and all that stuff. So I enjoyed the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, and again, I did like the visual. I did, but you know, you kind of made the comparison between like John Wick being the masculine and this one being the feminine. You know, probably one of my issues with this is like John Wick, you know, won't lean away from having like a strong female character, right? It won't. There'll be a strong female character in a John Wick movie. It has, right? This movie, you know, basically made every man inept. You know, every man
completely,
completely, right? So that, you know, to strip away, you know, everybody's masculinity and also, we've talked about this before, Doug and I, it's very important, or not very important. I like it when a character has, you know, some form of arc. I mean, I guess you can argue that that the main character in this, Sam was her name, may have had some sort of arc, but you know, she was a badass assassin at the beginning. She was a badass assassin at the end. You know, and like I said before, and kind of let's get away from the feminist thing. There was never a time in this movie I thought, oh yeah, she's at risk. You know what I mean? There's a risk that somebody's going to kill her. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, so I don't know. Like I said, I appreciate what you mentioned about the choreography of the fight scene. I think you make an interesting point that maybe, you know, they did take it almost to like the kung fu, like the old kung fu movies, like where it's, you know, but maybe
all the way into it.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I mentioned the bowling one, and we talked a little bit about the one when they were in the hospital with their arms numb. Yeah, that was when I was really like, oh God, this is killing me, man. I mean, like I was like, this is the worst.
Like the Wanted movie.
Oh, I know. It's like, and she's got the little girl taping the gun and the knife. It's kind of like, I am going. You know, this is terrible. You know, I was just like this, and I hated the whole laughing gas thing. That was. I don't even.
That cracks me up. That whole
really?
scene had me laughing good.
All right.
Really? When the freaking doctor comes in and starts hitting it himself.
Oh, God.
Yeah, had me cracking up.
Yeah. So, again, I think it was made for Andrew's generation, because I'm with you on that one, Tony. Like,
it was rough. Yeah. All right. So,
anyway.
Okay, well, give me some numbers here.
Some numbers. All right, Drew,
you
what's
go
your
first?
number?
I think it's my turn to go first, right?
Okay, you go first. Yeah, go first.
I'll give it 3. Go ahead. That's mine. 3.
Seriously, 3?
Yeah, I give it a 3.
That's
I did
awesome.
not like it.
Dude, that's the lowest rating you've given. What did you give Funny Games? Do you remember?
I'll probably like a 5.
Wow. Okay.
No, I gotta tell you, funny games. I can give it points for trying something different. It definitely tried something different. I mean, Funny Games was like,
we got to have Drew watch that. We have Drew watch that.
Drew, don't watch it, dude. Seriously, you can't ever watch it.
It's disturbing. It is.
What about Dracula's Curse?
I looked for that. Yeah, so if you can find that, we're totally having Tony watch that.
I haven't been able to find it either.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I think that was one of the employees of Blockbusters had made the movie and just put the disc in the.
It must be, yeah, because Andrew and I, when he was a little kid, we used to go to the base and rent movies, and whatever. And so I used to let him pick, and he picked one called Dracula's Curse. And God Almighty, that was the worst movie in history. That was like Mystery Science Theater 3000 worthy. We can find that.
I tell you what,
we're gonna review
that might be a video live streamish kind of thing we might do. I'll Dracula's Curse. Do you remember
Dracula's Curse? Yeah. Oh,
okay.
God. So we watched it in like 04 or 05. So it was probably in the late 90s or early 2000.
That was when Andrew was 3. If using the math you guys have. So
he was born in 97. So yeah. Anyway,
so he was like what?
Okay, so
yeah. What do you give
it? So my number for this movie is probably like a 6. I'd give it a 6.
Okay.
If it didn't have the feminist element, I would probably give it like a 7.5 or 8.
Wow,
I did think
8?
It was fun. It was
yeah.
I mean, if it didn't have that, like we talked about,
honestly, if it didn't just completely suck, I'd probably give it like an 8 too. I probably would. If it didn't just like, if it wasn't just a flaming dumpster fire of a movie, I'd give it an 8.
Okay, awesome.
All right, what do you think? What do you think, Andrew?
Well, here's the thing. Now, I want to give it like a 6, right? But I feel like if I give this movie a 6, I would have to bump up my score for The Nice Guys a little bit to maybe like an 8, because I enjoyed The Nice Guys a lot more as a movie. But I would say, to me, this movie was above average, so I'll give it a 6. Maybe a
okay, great.
5.75.
I like the debate. That was good. So
I like the logic. Yeah.
All
right, there you go. Gunpowder Milkshake. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out if you like. It's on Netflix. It's been on Netflix forever. And I will tell you right now, again, hey, to each his own.
Yeah,
with these movies. Yeah.
Here's one thing go ahead.
I was going to say that usually I'll watch a movie and I will say, yeah, Doug and I are not going to agree on this, but more often than not, we agree about the movies.
Yeah, strange we didn't agree on this one, because I caught it from what you said to me on the phone the other day. I told you that Andrew liked it, and you're like, "What? Really?" So I was pretty sure I knew where you were going with this one.
I was trying to keep my cards close, but I didn't pull it off. I was like, "Holy shit!
Are you kidding me? That piece of shit movie?
What's wrong with your kid? Did you drop him on his head when he was a baby?"
He was traumatized playing video games with my friend. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
you're welcome.
So here's something we never do, Tony. We should start doing when we do our movie reviews. Is since we're putting this crap on YouTube now, write in the comment what you think of Gunpowder Milkshake. I'm just curious if anybody actually watches this. Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, go back, watch our other, if you haven't already, but go back and watch the other ones. We just did 2 other movie reviews. We did Nice Guys, and we did, what did we do? Hitler and Bigfoot. The Man Who Killed
Hitler, and also Bigfoot,
and also the Bigfoot, yeah. So you can give us your opinions on that. I am sure lots of people, obviously, if you can't get us 3 together to agree about a movie like this one, there's probably lots of different opinions on this movie. So
some flames flying in the comments section.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I know I got friends that are, and again, I don't want to get into the whole. When we start talking about the feminist thing, I'm thinking like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a problem. It's not the feminist thing of the movie. I have no real issue with that. It's just the fact that it's fine if you want to portray a strong woman. I just don't like the fact that if you're going to portray a strong woman, it shouldn't completely neuter all the men. You know what I mean? A strong man and a strong woman, they make simpatico. They just like we were saying with a lot of other movies. The Matrix is a prime example.
Neo and Trinity,
Matrix, yeah, that's a good one.
They're great together, right? So anyway. All right, I will end it there. Well, let's end it there. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening, and you have a great rest of the day.
This is just like Joe Rogan's podcast, except there's less elk meat, weed, and listeners. That's a good one.
Another podcast, another outro. I don't want to take up too much of your time, so let's keep this one short. Like, share, subscribe, maybe ring a bell. I don't know what that'll do for you, but hey, sounds awesome. go to our webpage, check out some old podcasts we've done. They're all really good. I'm sure you'll like every one of them. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, send me an email, send me a note, send me a show idea. Maybe you want to join us on one of these podcasts. That's always an option. Finally, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an awesome trip, and we'll see you again next time.